Hey guys, I'm Coach Jay. I am a mental performance coach. I live in Ponte Vedra, Florida, and working with high school athletes that are going to play college sports, as well as college athletes that want to continue to play and get paid. And today I was going to talk about, a situation I recently got pulled into. I'm not going to give any names. I'm not going to give you any information where you can ever figure out who it was. And it's not the first time I've ever been had to do this. But basically, I get a text message from a parent. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, and they basically tell me that their child has a full ride and that at this point they don't know if they love their sport. Signing days 3 days away, and they're thinking about, you know, dropping out. And it's tough. I get it. I I've been in these situations, a lot of times, and there is a decent amount of pressure when you start thinking about at this point you're gonna have to go off to college, 600 miles away, whatever. It's a plane trip. And I'm not saying this was 600 miles. I'm just saying in general, you got to get on a plane to go to your college. You've always known living at home with your parents and all this, and so um, but there's a lot of factors involved in this stuff, and you really have to consider it. And some people may argue with me about this, but I've been around this for 18 years, and here's what I'll tell you: not one high school student is ready to be a college student when they sign in December or February. They're not ready for it. They're not mentally tough enough. Most of them are very naive. They don't understand that when they go up there, the guy or girl that just recruited you was sweet and convincing, and they were in sales mode. But once you go up there, they are now management mode, and they got to manage you in a way where you're bigger, stronger, and faster, and you're going to be under a pretty tight schedule. And so now you're dealing with meat eaters. You're dealing with grown men and women who are paid a lot of money to win. And if they don't win, it's harder on them than it is you, because they got to pack up everything and go to another school, another college, and as a general rule, it's going to be a step down. It's going to be a step down. So they have to get everything they can out of their college athletes. And so, what you saw from the official visit and all that it ain't like that at all. It's just not that. It's you got the best version of it. But all this being said is, our high school students are, you know, for the first time in their lives, they're given the chance to be a businessman or businesswoman. And most of my college athletes, they're all on the payroll. So they got their education paid for, they got a stipend every month, and then they get this extra income. All of it's legal, all of it's part of what they signed up for. A lot of these guys got agents, but this is a far, far cry from high school sports where mom and dad come down on Friday night and watch you play. It's nothing like that. So it's grown man business. It's adult business. People are getting paid. Lives are changed. It's a zero sum game. Either your team wins or their team wins. But every time your team loses, your coach, man, it's a more difficult life for them. So just today, when I was here doing calls, and one of my athletes at a certain college, both two of the coaches, one of the ads had gone in and fired one coach, and then they came back, and then the person I'm working with, their coach resigned because they were affiliated with that person. So they resigned. They were head coach too. So it was, I don't want to get into too much of it, but all I'm saying is, these people, they didn't know 6 months ago they were going to lose their job in December, 2.5 weeks before Christmas. Nobody plans on that. It's rough. Now, and that is part of the reason why they get paid well, because you got to factor all that in. So they're going to have to move somewhere else, probably sell their house, pay some real estate agent 5% commission, and get a new place. So I think that this stuff is, because of the financial packages that have come in, it's no longer my son is going to go play at Clemson and be part of the legacy, and that's where our kid goes. And no, if he goes to Clemson, he's getting paid. He is now and so if he's getting paid, now he's a businessman. What are we talking about? 40 grand for tuition, probably another 80 grand in benefits when you figure out what Clemson does, flying guys on planes, all the food, all the credit, basically giving them money where they can just go into any restaurant and eat whatever they want. They don't have to worry about what it costs. All the other benefits that come along. You got a PT, you got all these people working on your behalf, helping you get bigger, stronger, faster. Strength coaches, all this stuff. Highly trained people. In addition, most of these guys now at that Power 5 level, at the D1 level, they're also got an NIL deal. So they're making 100 grand up to a couple million a year. So it's a different game. It's not, it's a totally different game than even 5 years ago. And so now what we're seeing is people like me are becoming more, we're more visible. There are people now, they just handle social media accounts. So when you're in high school, they jump in, they handle your social media account. You got people jumping in being agents. So, they're helping the athlete who wants to jump in the transfer portal find his next home, her next home. They get paid a percentage of whatever they're brought in, but this is not what was going on 5 years ago. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry with a lot of serious actors. This is my full-time job. I mean, I don't do anything other than this, just counseling athletes 7 days a week, man. So I think that a lot of parents, they're not really educated and aware of how much things have ramped up. And it's one of those kind of things where nobody's educating you on it, nobody's talking about it, and you find out when you find out. But the reality is that you find out too late, and the system will just roll you over. And so, most of the kids I work with right now, and all high school kids, I tell them, you're not ready to go to college. So it is going to be intimidating when you go up there on official visit and you see these grown men with beards and, these huge bodies. That's going to be intimidating. You're not ready for that yet. But in December, getting ready for June, you are going to spend more time in the weight room. You're going to get bigger. You're going to get stronger. You're going to get faster. You're going to eat quality food. You're going to be on a better schedule for sleep. All of those pieces got to be set up. You're going to be a great runner. So whatever you were in high school at your peak, you got to get to here. So, everybody at the college, this is high school level right here, even in the playing in the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. All these guys, they're the best guys from their school. So to be prepared for that, you got to mentally, physically get stronger, and you got to, you're going to learn some very colorful language that you did not know existed at your high school, especially if you're in certain counties in Atlanta, Georgia, and definitely private schools. So you're going to hear some very colorful language. Some words that are very famous will be used as an adjective and a verb, and maybe even a noun. And they use it in different ways. So the word that word, which is very nasty and very bad word, and I don't use that word will be thrown at you. You'll hear it plenty. And so, but all this being said, man, you're going to get trained. You're going to get educated. You're going to mature. You're going to be more successful in life from going through this experience. So I hope this helps. I'm still fighting the flu and trying to get over it, but I'm just trying to get a couple videos out there just to talk. And you guys, I hope you'll like the video, subscribe to my channel, trying to just build it up, just giving quick messages and stuff like that. So all that being said, I'm Coach Jay. I can be found on Twitter at College Scout FB. I can also be found on Psychology Today. All you got to do is put in Google Psychology Today, Coach Jay, and it'll pop up. And then my website, sportsintervention.com. So hope you'll, if I can help you in any way, let me know, and we'll get it going. So all that being said, have a great night. God bless. See ya.